beyond grin. I am absolutely delighted today to welcome a very special person. Sri Rangarajan Chilkurji is the hereditary pujari and trustee of the divine Chilkur Balaji temple in Andhra Pradesh. Now, this is a very special temple, and I, in fact, have been trying to talk and have this conversation with Sri Rangarajan Chilkurji for a long, long time. Actually, we've been trying to do this for 3-4 years. And as they say, things only happen when Lord Balaji allows you to do this. So the right moment has come, and I am absolutely delighted that finally he has found time to talk to me. Rangarajan Chilkurji, thank you very much and namaskar.
Namaste.
I want to begin by asking you that the Chilkur Balaji temple is a very special place. It is not like many other temples, and that's because it has certain ideas or formats that we don't see in other temples. Now, I want you to explain to us why this is true. Number one is the fact that it does not take any donations from its devotees. There is no hundi as such. Why is this true? How did this tradition come into being? And how does this make this holy temple so very special?
Dr. Hindol Sengupta, namaste. And thank you for taking your time to have a small chat on our great civilization, which is thousands and thousands of years old. And I belong to the hereditary Archaka cum trustee family of Chilkur Balaji temple, which is a 500-year-old temple as far as we can date back to the deity. The Chilkur Balaji is considered to be the reincarnation of Tirumala Venkateshwara Swami, this Swayam Yakta Kshetra, where Tirumala Venkateshwara Swami, the Balaji, Kaliyuga Pratyaksha Daivam of the Gulokam, he descended from Vaikuntham to bless us, and he's blessing us at Tirumala. There was a devotee who used to go from our village every year by walk to the temple at Tirumala. He was becoming aged, he could not walk. So Swami appeared in his dream in an anthill, and he informed him that you don't need to come all the way to Tirumala. I am very much there in your village. He appeared on the top of an anthill, and with certain indications they could locate the anthill, and with the villagers they started digging the anthill. The moment they started digging, the crowbar struck the idol, and a lot of blood started oozing out of the anthill. And the person who was digging, he had a great pain, and he started shouting, said, I am not able to bear the pain. You just pour milk on me, I can come on my own. So they started pouring the milk, and the mud on the anthill started disappearing, washed away, and the deity was visible. And his Chilkur Balaji is a Swayam Yakta Kshetra. That is, on his own, he has informed the devotees that I am residing for your sake. And 1971, the great poet called Ashukavi Sarvabhauma, Srinidhi Swami, who penned the deity's Dhyana Sloka, Shilayam Ekasyam Jalanidhi Bhuva Kashyapa Bhuva Vilasam Santanvanne Vinata Shiva Sampujita Pada Jaladhara Prante Sakalajana Sarveshta Paladaha Kalau Asmin Daivam Jayati Chilukuru Venkatapati. The deity is residing in a place which is surrounded by two big lakes, Jaladhara Prante, and then the deity is having Sri Devi, Bhudevi residing on the lotus feet of the deity in the same vigraha, this Shilayam Ekasyam. And then the deity is Sakalajana Sarveshta Faladaha. The deity is granting all the boons of all the devotees who come to him. 1971, I'm telling this Dhyana Sloka. And then he is worshipped by Paramashiva as a devotee. So, we can just imagine a Swayam Vyakta Kshetra in which the deity is being worshipped by us for generations together. Coming to the question which you asked me, the hundi is a word, hundi. People, like you say, you can pronounce any way, whichever way. Our sampradaya, the temple system itself, no temple 100 years back would have a hundi in it. There is no concept of a collection box. A deity is residing in the temple, and the deity is endowed with lakhs of acres of land. For example, Padmanabha Swami of Kerala, Ananta Padmanabha Swami, you can say there's the whole Padmanabha kingdom was endowed to the Padmanabha himself.
And
So
that's
the
why the
landed
rulers, and that's why
property,
the rulers used to call themselves dasas of Padmanabha
yes,
Swami.
yes,
And
yes,
even till today, they call themselves the dasas. They
correct.
rule
They
on
are a
behalf of the deity,
Padmanabha Dasas.
Padmanabha Das.
Now, that landed property used to give lot of grains, flowers, oil, coconut oil, everything to the deity, the temple. So there is no concept of collecting money for running the institution. All the problems started when the Britishers came and started playing the role of the mediator between the peasant and the temple. Initially, the king used to be the collector for the taxes from the land revenue and giving it to the deity as the for running the institution. So all the temples which used to have landed property, the lands started being usurped by the administrators, and the temples became full of penury. And our temple also, we do not have the concept of collection box. We removed because the endowments administration, they started putting a lot of regulations. If you see, 1947, prior to 1947, the temples used to be governed by Hyderabad Endowment Regulation, which was a regulation common to the Sikh Gurdwaras, the masjids, the churches, and the Parsi temples, fire temples. All the religious institutions were governed by one single legislation. Hindu Religious Endowment Act aisa nahi tha. It was Hyderabad Endowment Regulation. It was actually drafted by Guru Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru, if you remember. And that was in force till 1965. And when the Endowment Act was amended, after independence, we people did not know how to amalgamate the reason for getting our independence. The basic reason for getting independence from the British system of governance was to remove the concept of secularization, which you remember, Dr. Sengupta, you tweeted, the secularization is a word. The secularization of the institution started happening, and all the temples became like a government institutions with less of godliness, less of religiosity, less of spiritual discussions and this thing. So we were the one people who started fighting the mighty endowments administration, in which the Endowment Act was amended, saying that all those temples which have an income of less than 50,000 per annum. Imagine 50,000 per annum. That means average 4,000 रुपये per महीने अगर से आपका इनकम होता, आपके पास एक एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर मैंडेटरी है. It is mandatory to have a governing person who is a government fellow who will run the institution. So then my father, I am really thankful to the great initiative taken by Dr. M.V. Soundarajan. My father is still alive, 88 years. He said, okay, if income is the only criteria, we will have no income in the temple. We will be a nil income temple. We will not have a collection box. It was there initially. We used to have during the annual festival Jatras, we used to have a collection box. Unfortunately or fortunately, the amount money collected would not be more than few hundreds. But we said we will not have even that. We don't want to take 1 rupee from the devotees for running the institution. And then that started in 2001 on December 8. We removed the hundi. And then we said there will be no plate collection. That is when we perform the arti, devotees will put money on the plate. So that also we don't want. And then we will run the institution like we run our family. That's what my father and our family members decided, to run this institution like that. But the deity, the Chilkur Balaji, made it a mandatory thing. 2001, 24 years back, whatever decision we took, we thought we will just, it will be a temporary phenomena where the Endowment Act will be amended. So they recognize that income is the secondary criteria for running the institution. There is no governmental officer to be needed and all that. But it became a permanent fixture. And we are proud to say that we are the only temple which we say we don't need any money for running the institution. The deity is, we have a magazine called Walk Magazine, which we run from the institution. Like we edited by my father, Dr. Soundarajan. Through the proceeds of it, we used to run the institution. But people support it. People, you know how affectionate the devotees are. Devotees used to get oil. Devotees used to get rice. Devotees used to get things in kind for running this institution. And then we introduced something called a Ubhayam concept. For example, in 2009, there is our Dwajastambham had to be replaced. And for that, we need money. So few devotees got together. They removed the Dwajastambha, and then they installed a new Dwajastambha. And that's like they, on their own, it is a Ubhayam concept. They don't pay one money to us. The activity will be done. And then there will be no name written like person donated, so and so, Dwajastambham and all that. It is a deity who done, Balaji ke Ashirwad se hua hai. So they are happy to do. This is the original way of the temple system in our country. And we unfortunately forgot that a temple is not for income. A temple is not for profit organization. Today, what we do is like, you know, if you see Tirupati Devasthanam, whatever, they make laddu. And then they say the laddu is made. So 12 rupees is the cost of making the laddu. We will sell it at 25 rupees. So that means the profit making concept is not supposed to be there. In fact, Tirupati laddus are freely distributed, but at the same time they are sold also. And the concept of sale of prasadam, the concept of sale of the darshan tickets, the concept of sale of archana, and all these have come like a commercial enterprise a temple has become. So we were the only people who are against the commercialization and the politicization of the religious institutions. So Chilkur Balaji, we are proud to say, and why I am happy to talk to you is, I have read your book on Srila Prabhupada, the book we have written, Sing, Dance and Pray. And one of the paragraphs of Srila Prabhupada, he says, when his acharya attained the Vaikuntham, his acharya had told them, please don't fight for the properties. Please don't fight for materialistic institutional gains. Please try to propagate. Unfortunately, the people who descended after his acharya, they continued to fight in the court for which room to be occupied by whom. I've seen, see, these are the things which a lot of people don't document. And I am proud to say that I was personally feeling like, when will I be able to talk to Dr. Sengupta? And then Balaji made me talk to you. And another important aspect is, when we are discussing in Tamil Nadu, for example, Have you heard about one temple called Terarundur? Terarundur is a place it is a temple where there will be around 97 Nadaswara Vidvans, 97 to 100 Nadaswara Vidvans. And the deity will, during the Brahmotsavam time, the Utsavam time, all these Vidvans will be playing the Nadaswaram. Imagine 90 and above people playing the Nadaswaram, and the deity will be moving inch by inch. Most of them are Muslims. They play the Nadaswaram, and then they have been endowed the land of the deity. So what happened? The government, the Inam Abolition Act, they abolished the Inam. So the duty, the service relationship is gone. Lot of people, they have sold the land and they have disappeared. So the Terarundur, the deity used to enjoy the Nadaswaram. People used to go like Trishur Puram. Have you gone to Trishur?
No, I haven't.
You have to visit.
I will.
Trishur Puram, there's so many elephants come during that day.
That's right.
And then there is a trumpeting. There is a great festival. It's an international, marvel. People descend on Trishur to watch the elephants from both the sides. So these are the things, which Nritya, Geeta, Yutam, Vatyam, Nityam, Atra, Vivardhatam. A temple is not only for rituals, it is for cultural, what do you call, cultural hereditary transformation or distribution of your cultural, what do you call, I'm not able to get the exact word. हमारे वारसत्व बोलते ना, हमारे वारसत्व को मंदिर में रक्षा करने का पद्धति।
करेक्ट।
आज क्या हो गया, मंदिर का सिस्टम में आप डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया. You have detached the Nadaswaram, yes. You have detached the dance, you have detached the music, and you have detached everything. The temple is remaining like a building. So we have to now, nice that you have come at the right time, because yesterday only the results have come for the Modi number 3.0. At least this 3.0, the Modi government should realize that whatever mistakes were done in the last so many years post-independence should be corrected. The deity has to be given the center point in every activity of decision making.
I want to ask you, Acharya ji, on this topic before I go on to the other questions that I have. You're absolutely right. I mean, all temples ideally should be run by devotees. It is the devotees' duty to run temples. The government's role is not to run temples, especially when the government doesn't run churches or mosques or gurudwaras and so on and so forth. So why only Hindu temples? It makes no sense. It doesn't even make any logical public policy sense. But Acharya ji, in some cases, there have been instances where managing committees or trustees themselves want a government mediator, otherwise they'll be quarreled by trustees. This has also happened in certain places. So that complicates this entire argument. Could you please give your opinion about this?
See, this is like, if suppose a person is having some problem, a person belonging to a family, assuming, if the person is having some cancer, whatever it is, will you operate that person or will you operate the entire family?
Fair point.
That person who is having cancer in him, he has to be operated upon. You, whatever allopathic medicines you give, chemotherapy, whatever you give that person only the problem. So what you have done today, just because one or the other greedy person has in the trustee family has come and he has eaten away the property of that institution, or he has done some malpractice or anything, you have put that as the mole, and then you have painted black the entire the community itself. I would say the concept of truthfulness, right? If shall I ask you the word that secularization is a word which we today is a topic. We said dharma is the supreme in our country. We said yato dharmas tato jaya, written behind the judges. Now, if one judge is corrupt, what will you do? We will dismiss all the judiciary.
But
We will not do that, isn't it?
yeah, good
Just
point.
because one judge is corrupt, you cannot say the entire judiciary is wrong. Just because one MP is greedy, you cannot say all the 543 MPs are not to be parliamentarians. But unfortunately, that is being used on our ancient religion. What the agamas say, agamas say the question of code of conduct came in the discussion between the deity, the Swami, and the devotee. This Agama Shastra says, suppose there is an archaka who is not performing his duties as being prescribed by you. This is Sri Prashna Samhita. It is the question and answer between Mahalakshmi and the Swami, one of the Agamas. If the deity, if the archaka is not performing his duties as you have prescribed, what is the solution? The Swami answers, leave it to me. I will handle him. I will take care of him. Whatever be the punishment, I will give him. Here, what is happening? आपके घर का काम वाला है, आप ओनर है, आपके सामने घर वाला आके उसको डिसिप्लिन करने के लिए सोच रहा. Will you tolerate?
Good point.
This is a big problem. So what is happening is, suppose you say, if suppose the government withdraws itself from the temple system today, there are some 34,000 and odd temples in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana together. There are, see, today, just now in the beginning, you said Andhra Pradesh. Our temple is situated in Telangana. It is United Andhra Pradesh. That's what you said.
Yes.
But our temple is in Telangana.
Right.
Together, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana used to have 34,401 temples as per their data of 1987, I'm telling you. More temples would have come up. Some temples would have disappeared. Okay. Approximately that much amount. Tamil Nadu has got 35,000 and odd temples. Kerala has got some similar number of temples. Karnataka also has got some 35,000-40,000 temples. Close to 1.5 lakh temples are there just in the South Indian subcontinent. Is 1.5 lakh temples you want to say withdraw? The government today says, I want to withdraw from this administrative purpose. The question is, who will be handling the temple? कौन करेगा administration? ये question है. See, for that, there was an answer given by our, Ramajai's committee. Justice Ramajai's committee has given an answer to that. Said there will be a Dharmika Parishad. Dharmika Parishad will be headed by Mathadipatis, Pitadipatis, and retired judges, people of great moral stature, who will sit as the supervising body. Under them, the trustees will come. If the trustees are not performing their role properly, anybody can complain to the Dharmic Parishad. So you give autonomy to the trustees. They will protect their institutions. America mein kitne temples construct ho rahe? How many temples are getting constructed? There also they are having problems. The trustees go to the complaint and then they say, the American government, they said you settle it between them. Their court cases are there. But the trust board or trustees are given freedom to run the institution in places like US. In our own place, why don't you trust? That is a problem.
Very good point.
When you can trust the church establishment to run their institutions. In fact, there are a lot of complaints If you go and see the CSI, Church Society of India, they have a lot of complaints on different dioceses. You can find out. But still, they say we will handle it ourselves. We will have a Dharmic Parishad, and then under it we will have, I would say there should be a need for a central Dharmic Parishad, a body in the central level, and under it there will be state Dharmic Parishads, and leave it to the autonomous institutions. The temples will be run under the Dharmic Parishad. Bring all of them under that umbrella. We don't want the secularization of our, already we have lost a lot of religiosity in institutions. That is what is the request in those.
Very, very interesting points. I also wanted to ask you, Acharya ji, the other wonderful thing about your temple is that the Chilkur Balaji temple does not allow any VIP entrance or VIP darshan or VIP queue or VIP door and things like that, or VIP timings. It is truly a democratic space. Everybody comes before the deity in the same way as a devotee and goes away with the blessings as a devotee. It may be whoever, it may be a movie star, a big politician, whoever it is, or the poorest man. Everybody is the same in front of the deity. How have you managed that? Because many temples, of course, have these special timings, special, zones, and so on and so forth.
It's a very, very what do you call, important question you have asked. In front of God, everybody is the same. And 615 years back, one saint by name Annamaya, who belonged to the Padakavita Pitamaha, is called the person who sang 32,000 kirtanas on the Balaji. He says, Brahmam okate, Parabrahmam okate. Everybody is equal before Balaji. Whether he is a Brahmin or the lowest born by birth, whether he is an elephant or a dog, they are all equal before the Balaji. And everybody comes for begging. See, some people, why do they go before Balaji? They come for begging. One of them comes for property to be bought, visa to be granted. Somebody comes for his backlogs to be removed. A lot of things like that. So people are coming for begging. So among the beggars, will there be a VIP beggar? This is a question.
Very well said. Very well said.
There is no VIP beggar. Agreed. There will be governors, there will be former governors, they will be coming. We always tell, it will be, you have to go along with the devotees. Maybe we may give one extra garland, where one blessing in front of God, and then that's it. But please don't expect a private or particular time exclusively for you in Chilkur Balaji. We don't provide that. And it is by Balaji blessing, we are able to run till now. And Bhagavan Kripa hai, because we are sincere. We say to the people, when the devotees crowd is huge, we advise them, please be very careful when if you want to plan to come. So that is how it is.
Understood. The other wonderful thing about your temple, Acharya ji, I wanted to ask you is that there was this instance a few years ago where you actually carried a man on your shoulders into the temple that made news across the country. Tell us a little bit about that. I know the details, but most people would not know the details. Why did you do that? What was its significance? And why was it so important for you to do?
Dr. Gupta, actually, it's a nice question you have asked. A lot of people have a complaint that ours is a religion that discriminates people by birth, which is not true. In fact, the religion or the way of life which our system is saying is each of them, they have been given certain duties to perform. And these duties actually belong to the character of the individual. And that is how Ramanuja has clearly explained. Brahma anati iti brahmana. The person who tries to travel the journey towards Parabrahma Swarupam is a Brahman. He need not be born in a Brahmin community. That's what the clear explanation on the word Brahmana has been there. Now, the devotee, whether he belongs to a downtrodden community or a devotee belongs to the scheduled caste community or a backward caste community, is to be treated with the same amount of affection by people of the institution. Now, what happened is our temple system, there were restrictions for people to enter the temple system for worship, because over a period of time, it is why we were saying that the duties, certain duties, you have to perform these duties, not to the individual. What happened is you are performing the duty to the Almighty. So dasa dasa charanavadi dasa dasa. The concept of dasa is only to our system. There is no concept of dasa in Christianity or Islam. You are not the servant of any individual in any other religion. But here, you are the servant of the devotee. The most smallest devotee, you are his servant. That is how the Alvars have described the great affection of the Swami. Now, coming to your point, like what happened, why was you lifting the person belonging to the backward caste, scheduled caste community on your shoulder? See, what happened is 2018, somewhere in January, at that time, there was one Supreme Court judgment on SC/STs Atrocities Act, which said there is no need for arresting immediately the person who abuses or insults and all that. There was a lot of hue and cry among the downtrodden community. And the university, Usman University, wanted me to come and speak on that issue. And I went and spoke among youngsters, professors, and all them regarding the discrimination by birth. Nobody should discriminate people based on their birth, which is a sin. And I gave them an instance which happened in 2700 years ago in Sri Rangakshetra. One of our Alvars belonging to the most downtrodden community who never can enter the temple, he was singing on the banks of Kaveri river. He is by name Tiruppan Alvar. And he is a great Veena Vidvamsa. He plays Veena. And the Archaka from the temple, Lokasaranga Muni, every day early morning goes collects water from Kaveri river and gets to the temple for worship, Abhishekam and all. This Lokasaranga Muni one early morning is going to the river bank. He finds the gentleman on the way. He's in a trance. He is not able to listen to him, and he is obstructing the way of the Archaka Swami. So he calls him by name. He says, "Please move. I have to go and collect water." But he doesn't move. So he takes a pebble and then throws. That's what one of the Guru Paramparas says. And that hits the forehead of the Tiruppan Alvar. He wakes up and he says, "Swami, please forgive me. I have obstructed you. Don't mind." Moves away. And then the Lokasaranga Muni collects water and comes back to the temple. And inside the temple, the deity Ranganatha Swami's forehead is bleeding. And he's shocked. Says, "Swami, what is this? I have injured you, or what is apacharam I have committed?" There is a voice from the Garbhagriha. Says, "You have injured my very favorite devotee. You have to bring him to the temple and respectfully. He goes there and he requests him. He says, I will not come inside. If I come inside, I will become a sinner. So that is a kind of response he gave. He says, if I put my feet inside the temple, I'll become the sinner. The Archaka Swami says, you don't need to put your feet on the floor. I will lift you on my shoulder without your feet touching the ground, and I will take you inside. This is the order of my Swami, Ranganatha Swami. So when he brings that Tirupan Alvar on his shoulder, all the way from Kaveri river to the sanctum, entrance of the sanctum, and he's standing there, and Tirupan Alvar starts singing the entire description of the Ranganatha Swami's posture. There are 10 poems. This is Amalan Adi Piran. It is called Amalan Adi Piran. Only 10. These 10 poetry songs is called Pashuram, which is sung by every Sri Vaishnavite during their rituals. And it says, at the end of the description is like, see, he is describing the lotus feet, he is describing each and every part of Ranganatha Swami. From Apada Chudam Anubhuya Harim Shaya. He is experiencing the bliss by singing the praise of Ranganatha from the feet to the Kiritam, the Mauli. And he says at the end of that, En Amudanai Kanda Kangal, Matrondrinai Kanave. I will not be with these eyes. I have seen nectar. I don't want to see anything other than this, he says, and his Jivatma passes off and then gets leenam into Ranganatha Swami. That instance I told in that this thing. And I do not know, maybe Balaji wanted me to reenact this whole incident. There was a kind of a commotion in that meeting. And one of them said, in this situation, will you do something similar to this? Maybe Balaji wanted me to reenact it. And I had to do in front of my Swami. One day I heard Munivahana. My father told me that Munivahana means the instance which happened during Tirupan Alvar. He is called Munivahana. Muni is a Vahana of the Alvar. And it is written like Munivahana Utsavam, Munivahana Bhogam. Our one of the Acharyas, Vedanta Deshika, describes the 10 Pashurams. He has written commentary on that. It's called Munivahana Bhogam. So that Munivahana is a word we use for that Utsavam. Not only in Jiyagoda Ranganatha Swami temple, when I lifted on my shoulder, I would like to recognize one of my important Shishyas, the disciples in Chilkur, Pawan Kumar, who helped me do this activity with great devotion and not like for fanfare. We had only 70 or 80 devotees there, but the cameras were huge. BBC was telecasting it live. I did not expect it to happen. And then it became, Dalai Lama wrote me a letter appreciating this activity. And maybe Balaji, our Chilkur Balaji's divine ordained blessing is there for me. We were able to answer the criticism that ours is a discriminative religion. It is not, when the deity himself doesn't allow discrimination. I would like to add this, Dr. Sengupta, is, have you heard about temple entry proclamation?
No, please tell me.
I want you to write a book on that.
By the grace of Balaji.
1936, November 12. You please do a little bit research. Thiruvananthapuram, Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple, and the Padmanabha Dasa Chitra Tirunal Balarama Varma. There is a proclamation. 1400 and all temples in that region were open to all the sects from without discrimination. based on their birth, they can enter without any obstruction. This is called Temple Entry Proclamation. On November 12th, it is enacted, and in 1936, it was enacted. And you will be surprised to know, when this Chitra Tirunal Balarama Varma was alive himself, his statue was erected. His statue was erected in Chennai. A great garden was there. In that, the statue was erected, with acclaiming the activity which he performed. This is, he says, by the divine order of my Swami Padmanabha, I am the Dasa. I am from today onwards, there will be opened, all the doors of the temples will be open for people belonging to all the sects. It is called Temple Entry Proclamation. In 1936, it happened. This Temple Entry Proclamation is a foundation stone for Article 25 of our Constitution. And Article 26 of our Constitution also, the Ananta Padmanabha Swami Constitution, has been incorporated in Article 26. So, you might be seeing my Twitter account. Today we are recognizing the contribution of this Tirupan Alvar community. Sri Ramnath Govind, His Excellency, he was the President of India last term, before Srimati Draupadi Murmu. He only forwarded our dispute, like Article 363 dispute. We were just fighting for the rights of the deity, which is a big topic we will discuss a little later. But Article 363, and I want Dr. Hindol Sengupta, it's a request from my side. Please write a book on that. It will be your contribution to this generation, which is 30 and 25 years people should know what has been the great sacrifice our people had done to protect the great lineage of temple system by through this Article 363, how Temple Entry Proclamation and how this Tirupan Alvar community have been there to protect our dharma, because otherwise our Supreme Court will make our institutions secularized. There is no doubt about it. Anyone can file a public interest litigation questioning why people are not doing this, why people are not doing this. And the Supreme Court will its own way interpret the Constitution with the whims and fancies and use dictionary meanings and destroy our religious institutions. This is my request, Dr. Sengupta.
No, absolutely. With the blessings of Balaji, definitely. With the blessings of the Lord, definitely, I will endeavor to do so. As we come to the end of our conversation, Acharya-ji, I have one last question. You explained in great detail, and thank you for that, on how you have resisted government control. I want you to reflect on, on what were the challenges you faced because of this and how you encountered them. You mentioned some of them, how, different ways people have contributed to the temple, devotees have contributed. I know you're also a very prominent voice in, we are all in this entire process to free our temples from government interference and control. How long do you think this process will take? How, in your own experience from your own temple, what all have you done to try and move this conversation and journey forward?
It's a nice question, Dr. Sengupta. Like, there is a need for awakening among our masses. Unless they understand. Today, a religious person is not feeling the void. He is not feeling the void which the temple system, if it disappears, what will happen? Already we are feeling that there is a immorality. There is a lot of, ethical values have gone down. Unless you have a temple system which can inculcate these values. For example, you might have gone to this ISKCON, there every day they have the evening discourses on Bhagavad Gita. Lot of temples used to have this Ramayana, Mahabharata discourse. People used to sit and listen. Today, you will be surprised. Lot of YouTube channels which are catering to the youngsters. The audience is so many of them, and even our interview, you can see people are waiting to listen to such voices. That's why
I agree. I
people.
completely agree.
So it was actually a physical in front of the deity. If devotees can listen, that will be nothing like that. And we have to revive this spiritual atmosphere, religious atmosphere. That can be done only by the community if it runs the institution. Today, the community is not able to run the institution. The institution is being run in the profit and loss basis. As you said, when will it happen? Yes, it will happen, provided people like us come together and try to educate. Like, Sai Deepak was there. Sai Deepak is out of his 100% of cases, he is trying to fight the battle. 15% of that pro bono is saying it, taking.
Right, right.
But these matters cannot be solved only in the court.
Yes.
Unless the community wakes up, says we want to run our institution on our own. Already the voices are there, but it is only small voice. Like Sengupta's sane voices. Sengupta's sane voice. Hundreds of them together.
Yes.
If they all come together.
Yes.
See, I would say, have you heard about this Gurudwara movement?
Yes. Yes.
How did it start?
Ordinary people.
It started very, very few people.
Yeah.
Then
yeah,
it became a big movement.
Correct.
Gurudwaras, leave the Gurudwaras to us. And Britishers had, through Mahants, a huge control over the Gurudwaras. It became violent at one point of time. And I am seeing such kind of anger among the community people. People are feeling like, when will our temples be the original 100 years back, the community type of worship, which we can get with, few corrections. As you said, there will be a need for inculcating the ethical values, moral values in the devotee community. If you start doing it, it will be a great thing for our future. Our children at least should have their temples back to their original glory. That's what is my request.
That's an amazingly positive and a very earnest. May the words spoken by you as an ardent, devout devotee, lifelong devotee of Sri Balaji come true, Acharya-ji. I really hope and pray, and whatever people like me can do to support such a divine cause. Of course, it's our, forget our task, it's our divine, it's a, our devotee duty to perform this task. Thank you very much for your time, for speaking to me.
One last addition,
please.
See, if you come and see in any temple,
yes,
you will not find people being differentiated based on their birth. Have you gone to Tirumala? Have you gone to Puri Jagannath?
Of course, yes.
If you have gone to Puri Jagannath, can you identify what is the background of person?
No, not at all. I mean, everybody is in front, the same in front of Lord Jagannath. Yes.
If you show that the deity is supreme, we are all human beings.
Yeah, and the same. I mean, I have been to Padmanabha Swami, Shri Padmanabha Swami. You can't tell who's what. Everybody is the same in front of the Lord.
Everybody. So that is what we want to inculcate, Dr. Sengupta. Caste is ide andar hamare religious ke by birth we may be Yadavs, we may be Kurmis, we may be Reddis. By birth we may be 100 different people. But when it comes before the deity,
we are all
the temple system, let us collectively unite to keep it for our posterity. Unless we do that, we will not be able to protect the system.
Amazing point. Thank you very much. Like I said, may all your words come true. And whatever we can do in the process, we must all gather together and do. Acharya ji, thank you very much. for your time, and I've taken a lot of your time. My apologies for that, but I appreciate you talking to me and giving me such valuable and inspirational detail about the great Chilkur Balaji temple. Thank you, Acharya ji.
Namaste. Aishman Bhava.